Ladies and gentlemen, stop waiting for the calendar to change your life. A new year doesn't come with new results unless you bring new discipline, new focus, and a new mindset. 2026 is not magical by itself. It will only become the best year of your life if you decide right now that you are done settling for average. Great years are built on intentional goals, not wishful thinking. Let me give you 5 goals that, if you commit to them, will transform not just your year, but your future. Before anything in your life can change, something in your mind has to shift. The way you think determines the way you live. Every result you are getting right now is connected to a belief you have been holding on to, whether you realize it or not. If you want 2026 to become the best year of your life, you must first decide that your mindset will no longer work against you. Too many people want new results while carrying old thinking, and that combination never works. Your mind is powerful, but if it is undisciplined, it becomes your greatest enemy. Fear, doubt, overthinking, and comparison quietly sabotage your progress. You start talking yourself out of opportunities before you even try. You see challenges and immediately assume failure. But the truth is, most limits in your life are self-imposed. They were never placed on you by God, your background, or your circumstances. They were built through repetition. Repeated thoughts, repeated excuses, repeated fear. What you repeat, you reinforce. And what you reinforce eventually becomes your reality. If 2026 is going to be different, you must become intentional about what you allow to live in your head. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your agreement. You have to learn how to challenge negative thinking instead of accepting it as truth. Just because a thought enters your mind does not mean it belongs there. You were not created to live in survival mode. You were created to grow, expand, and fulfill a purpose bigger than your comfort. Your mindset shapes how you respond to setbacks. When your thinking is small, every obstacle feels like a dead end. But when your thinking is strong, obstacles become instructions. Failure stops being proof that you can't succeed and starts becoming feedback on how to improve. People with the right mindset don't quit when things get hard. They adjust and keep moving forward. They understand that resistance is not rejection, it's refinement. Another shift you must make is how you speak to yourself. The conversations you have in private determine the confidence you show in public. If you constantly tell yourself that you're behind, unlucky, or not good enough, your actions will reflect that belief. But when you speak life over yourself, when you remind yourself that you are capable, prepared, and chosen, you start showing up differently. Confidence is not arrogance. It's agreement with the truth of who you were created to be. To strengthen your mindset, you must feed it daily. Just like your body needs food, your mind needs nourishment. What you watch, listen to, read, and surround yourself with is shaping your future. If you start your day with negativity, distractions, and noise, don't be surprised when your focus is weak and your energy is low. But when you start your day with prayer, learning, and intention, you train your mind to expect progress. A strong mindset also understands timing. Not everything happens immediately, and that doesn't mean it's not working. Growth often happens quietly before it shows publicly. The people who win are the ones who keep believing even when results are delayed. They trust the process, stay consistent, and refuse to quit on themselves. 2026 will not become your best year because life suddenly gets easier. It will become your best year because you become mentally stronger. When your mindset is aligned with faith, discipline, and purpose, nothing can stop you. Change your thinking and you change your direction. Change your direction and your life will never be the same. Most people wait to feel motivated before they take action, and that is exactly why they stay stuck. Motivation is emotional, and emotions are inconsistent. One day you feel inspired. The next day you feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. If your progress depends on how you feel, your results will always be unstable. The people who actually win in life are not the most motivated. They are the most disciplined. If 2026 is going to be your best year ever, discipline must become your new lifestyle. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It is choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. Discipline is waking up early when your bed feels comfortable. It is staying focused when distractions are loud. It is keeping your promises to yourself when no one else is watching. Motivation might get you started, but discipline is what carries you across the finish line. The problem is that many people misunderstand discipline. They think it means being harsh, extreme, or perfect. But discipline is not about perfection. It is about consistency. You don't need massive actions. You need small actions repeated daily. A few focused hours every day will beat occasional bursts of motivation every time. Success is not built in dramatic moments. It is built in quiet routines that most people ignore. When you build discipline, you remove excuses from your life. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop asking, do I feel like it? And start asking, what needs to be done today? Discipline simplifies your decision-making. Instead of overthinking, you act. Instead of procrastinating, you move. This mental clarity alone can change your entire year. Discipline also builds self-respect. Every time you keep a commitment to yourself, you strengthen your confidence. You begin to trust yourself again. Many people lack confidence not because they are incapable, but because they have a history of quitting on themselves. Discipline repairs that relationship. When you show up consistently, even on hard days, you prove to yourself that you can be relied on. Another powerful truth about discipline is that it creates momentum. At first, it feels uncomfortable and forced, but over time, disciplined actions become habits, and habits become automatic. What once felt difficult starts to feel normal. Your standards rise. You no longer settle for laziness, excuses, or half effort. You begin to expect more from yourself, and life responds to those higher standards. Discipline is especially important when results are slow. This is where most people quit. They do the right thing for a few weeks, don't see immediate results, and assume it's not working. But discipline understands the law of compounding. What you do daily may seem small, but over months, it produces massive change. The harvest always comes after the work, never before. In 2026, stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Discipline does not need excitement. It needs commitment. Set clear routines. Decide in advance what your non-negotiables are. Protect your time, your energy, and your focus. When distractio nears appear, discipline helps you say no to what doesn't matter, so you can say yes to what does. If you master discipline, motivation becomes optional. You no longer depend on external encouragement or temporary inspiration. You become self-driven, self-directed, and unstoppable. Make discipline your foundation, and 2026 will reward you with results you once thought were impossible. Your environment is either helping you grow or quietly holding you back, and most people underestimate how powerful it really is. You can have big dreams, strong faith, and clear goals, but if your surroundings are misaligned with where you're trying to go, progress will always feel harder than it needs to be. If 2026 is going to be your best year ever, one of the most important decisions you must make is to change what surrounds you. Environment is more than just a physical place. It includes the people you spend time with, the conversations you listen to, the habits you repeat, the content you consume, and the routines you live by. Every environment sends you a message, and over time, you begin to believe that message. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, excuses, and low expectations, even a motivated person will slowly start to think smaller. Growth cannot survive long in an environment that resists change. One of the hardest truths to accept is that not everyone can go where you're going. Some people are meant to be part of your past, not your future. This doesn't make them bad people. It simply means your growth demands a different atmosphere. When you begin to change, some relationships will feel uncomfortable because they were built on the old version of you. Holding on to people who no longer align with your purpose will eventually cost you the very future you're praying for. Your environment also affects your standards. If the people around you settle for average, rage starts to feel normal. But when you surround yourself with disciplined, focused, and purpose-driven individuals, excellence becomes your new baseline. You rise or fall to the level of your environment. That is why upgrading your circle is not selfish, it is necessary. The right environment doesn't just support your goals, it challenges them. Another part of your environment is your daily routine. What you do repeatedly shapes who you become. If your routine is unstructured, reactive, and filled with distractions, your results will reflect that chaos. But when you intentionally design your day with time for growth, focus, and reflection, you create an environment that supports success. Structure brings freedom, and routines create momentum. Your digital environment matters just as much. What you watch, scroll through, and listen to is programming your mind, whether you realize it or not. Constant exposure to negativity, comparison, and meaningless entertainment weakens focus and drains ambition. In 2026, you must become selective about what you allow into your mental space. Replace mindless consumption with content that educates, inspires, and pushes you forward. Protecting your mind is a form of self-respect. Changing your environment requires courage. It means making decisions that others may not understand. It means saying no to comfort, familiarity, and approval. But growth has always required separation. Every level of success demands a new environment, a new standard, and a new way of thinking. You cannot expect new results while staying loyal to old habits and old spaces. The good news is that once your environment changes, growth becomes easier. Discipline feels more natural. Focus becomes stronger. Confidence increases. You stop forcing progress and start flowing with it. In 2026, don't fight your environment, fix it. Place yourself in rooms that stretch. Build routines that support your purpose. Choose surroundings that reflect the future you want, not the past you're trying to escape. When your environment aligns with your vision, success becomes inevitable. In today's world, your greatest job security is not a title, a company, or a degree. It is the value you bring to the table. The marketplace rewards people who can solve problems, create results, and adapt to change. If you want 2026 to be your best year ever, one of your most important goals must be to develop a valuable skill and commit to mastering it. Talent may open doors, but skill keeps them open. Many people work hard, but effort alone is no longer enough. You can be busy every day and still be replaceable. What separates those who struggle from those who thrive is usefulness. When you possess a skill that is in demand, you become needed. When you become needed, opportunities begin to chase you. The world does not pay you for what you want. It pays you for what you can do. Skill development begins with awareness. You must honestly assess where you are and where you want to go. Ask yourself what problems you are capable of solving and what skills align with your purpose, whether it's communication, leadership, sales, technology, creativity, business, or personal branding. Your future income and influence are connected to your willingness to learn. The most dangerous mindset in 2026 is believing you already know enough. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for permission to grow. They wait for their job to train them, their situation to improve, or the perfect opportunity to appear. But successful people take responsibility for their own development. They invest time, energy, and sometimes money into learning. They understand that education does not stop at graduation. Learning is lifelong, and those who stop learning eventually get left behind. Skill development requires humility. You must be willing to be a beginner again. You must accept feedback, make mistakes, and stay patient through the process. Mastery takes time, and progress is often slow at first, but every hour you invest compounds. What feels uncomfortable today becomes confidence tomorrow. The pain of learning is temporary, but the rewards of mastery are permanent. Another key truth is that skill alone is not enough. You must apply it. Knowledge without action has no power. Practice turns information into ability. Repetition builds confidence. The more you use your skill, the sharper it becomes. Don't wait until you feel perfect. Start where you are, use what you have, and improve as you go. The marketplace values execution, not intention. As your skill grows, so does your confidence. You stop depending on luck and start trusting your preparation. You walk into rooms knowing you belong there. You stop chasing opportunities and start creating them. Skill gives you leverage. It gives you options. It gives you the freedom to say no to situations that no longer serve you. In 2026, make excellence your standard. Don't aim to be average or just good enough. Be so prepared, so capable, and so consistent that your value becomes undeniable. When you focus on becoming better instead of just getting more, success follows naturally. The future belongs to those who are willing to learn, adapt, and grow. Develop your skills, sharpen your craft, and commit to mastery. When you do, 2026 won't just bring you more opportunities, it will bring you a higher level of respect, income, and purpose. Faith is not passive, and it is not proven by words alone. Faith is demonstrated through action, especially when the outcome is uncertain. Many people say they believe in God, believe in their dreams, and believe in a better future, yet they remain stuck because they are unwilling to move. If 2026 is going to be your best year ever, you must understand this truth. Faith requires action, and action requires courage. Most people wait for clarity before they move, but faith works the opposite way. You move first and clarity follows. If you wait until you feel completely ready, fearless, and confident, you will wait forever. Growth has always demanded risk. Every major breakthrough in life sits on the other side of discomfort. Faith is stepping forward even when you cannot see the entire path, trusting that the next step will appear once you move. Fear is the greatest enemy of faith. It disguises itself as logic, caution, and responsibility. Fear tells you to wait, to play it safe, to stay where you are because at least it's familiar. But familiar does not mean fulfilled. Many people are not trapped by a lack of opportunity. They are trapped by fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of losing control. Faith challenges fear by reminding you that safety is not the same as purpose. Taking action in faith does not mean being reckless. It means being obedient to the vision placed on your heart. It means preparing as much as you can, praying for guidance, and then moving forward even when guarantees are absent. Faith is not about knowing how everything will work out. It is about trusting who is guiding you. When you trust God, you learn that uncertainty is not something to avoid. It is something to walk through. One of the hardest parts of faith is patience. Many people take a step and expect immediate results. When success does not show up quickly, they assume they made a mistake. But faith understands timing. Sometimes God uses delay to build character, discipline, and resilience. What looks like a setback may actually be preparation. Faith keeps moving even when progress feels slow. Action also strengthens faith. The more steps you take, the more confidence you build. You begin to see evidence of growth, provision, and unexpected opportunities. Faith grows when it is exercised. Each courageous move reinforces your belief that you are capable, supported, and protected. Standing still weakens faith, movement activates it. In 2026, you must be willing to step out of comfort. Comfort has never produced greatness. Every person who fulfilled a calling had to walk away from what was familiar and step into the unknown. You may have to let go of security to gain purpose. You may have to risk failure to experience fulfillment. Faith does not promise ease, but it does promise growth. When you act in faith, doors begin to open that effort alone could never unlock. People show up unexpectedly. Opportunities appear at the right moment. Resources come when they are needed most. This is not coincidence, it is alignment. When your actions align with your faith, life begins to move with you instead of against you. If you want 2026 to be transformative, don't just believe, move, pray, prepare, and take the leap. Trust that you are not walking alone. Faith with action turns dreams into reality, and this year can become the moment you finally stepped into the life you were created to live. Nothing truly changes until you make a decision and commit to it fully. Half effort produces half results, and hesitation keeps potential locked away. If 2026 is going to be remembered as the year everything shifted, it will be because you chose growth over comfort and commitment over convenience. Great years are not accidental. They are the result of daily decisions made with purpose and consistency. Commitment begins with clarity. You must know what kind of person you are becoming, not just what you want to achieve. Goals give you direction, but commitment gives you identity. When you commit to growth, you stop asking whether something is easy or hard and start asking whether it aligns with your future. This shift alone can transform how you approach every decision you make. Growth is uncomfortable by nature. It demands change, effort, and sacrifice. Many people say they want a better life, but they resist the process required to build it. Commitment means accepting discomfort as part of progress. It means showing up on days when results are invisible. It means continuing even when recognition is absent. Growth does not always feel rewarding in the moment, but it is always rewarding in the long run. One of the biggest challenges to commitment is distraction. In a world full of noise, it is easy to lose focus and drift. Commitment requires discipline and boundaries. You must protect your time, energy, and attention. Not everything deserves access to you. When you commit to growth, you learn to say no without guilt and yes without hesitation. Focus becomes your advantage in a distracted world. Commitment also requires accountability. You cannot grow in isolation. Whether it's a mentor, a trusted friend, or a community that pushes you forward, accountability keeps you aligned with your goals. When someone can challenge you, correct you, and encourage you, your commitment becomes stronger. Growth accelerates when you are surrounded by people who refuse to let you settle. Another powerful part of commitment is consistency. Breakthroughs rarely come from one big moment. They come from small actions repeated over time. The discipline to keep going, even when progress is slow, separates those who succeed from those who quit. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. When you stay committed, even setbacks become lessons instead of stopping points. Commitment also reshapes your self-image. You begin to see yourself as someone who finishes what they start. Confidence grows not from positive thinking alone, but from proven behavior. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, your belief strengthens. Over time, you stop doubting your ability to follow through because you have evidence of discipline and resilience. 2026 does not need to be perfect to be powerful. There will be challenges, delays, and moments of doubt. But commitment keeps you grounded. It reminds you why you started. It keeps you moving forward when quitting feels easier. Growth is not about avoiding struggle. It is about becoming strong enough to handle it. Let 2026 remember you as someone who chose progress over excuses and purpose over fear. Commit to your mindset. Commit to discipline. Commit to growth. When you fully commit, life begins to respond. This year can be your turning point, not because everything changed, but because you did.